Hi, my name is Emily. I'm going to teach you how to sew your own face mask during these crazy times of the coronavirus. I know a lot of people are stuck inside, bored during quarantine, so this is kind of a perfect time if you have a sewing machine to learn how to make some masks. I have not previously sewn before. This is actually the first time I've learned how to use my sewing machine through lots of YouTube videos and stuff like that. I was gifted this sewing machine at the beginning of the year from my grandma, and it was kind of perfect timing because I had put my New Year's resolution as to learn how to sew. So here we go. Hopefully I can teach you guys something you can help first responders and others who are in need. I didn't go out and buy any fabric. My parents were actually cleaning out our attic and found old curtain fabric, I think, and some shears. So I used the curtain fabric as the base and the shears as ties for the masks, and then I found old t-shirts that I was going to donate anyways to use as a lining for the base. So first my mom ended up helping me cut the squares for the outside of the mask. We did it 10 inches wide and 9 inches long, or the other way around. It honestly doesn't really matter because they're so similar. You'll just have to fold one side, but make sure one side is skinnier. Next thing that we figured out is how to cut the shears because we'll be using them for the ties on the masks. So it doesn't really matter how long they are. I just tried to make them a little bit longer than I thought they would need to be, just in case. So I'll cut it to about here. Here's what the shear looks like after cutting it. Now we're going to fold it in half and use the iron to fix it all up. Now that the shear is folded in half, we're going to fold it again. Not all the way half, but about there. And then iron it again, so that way it can get this kind of folded aspect, so it's a little bit skinnier. Now that the string is ready, we're gonna go to the sewing machine and sew. But just a side note, this should be 1 of 4 if you're making 1 mask. Like I said before, I'm not a professional sewer or anything. This was gifted to me by my grandma. Thanks, Mom. And I've just learned how to use it looking at YouTube videos and stuff like that this year, because this was actually one of my New Year's resolutions, was to learn how to sew. It's come in handy so far. Cutting on this one because I know that the zigzag pattern is good for elastic, and this is kind of a thin, like, gentle fabric, so I thought that could work. And then that's the other setting. I'm just gonna place it there, and then I'll just go through, but like these parts where it's like 2-fold, I try to make sure the outside fold gets it as much as possible so it doesn't like flap out. Here's the example of 4 shears that I've done. Like I said, the size doesn't really matter. They don't have to be all equal because they're just going to be used as ties, but it'd be nice if they were long. Like this one's a little bit short. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but I next traced the fabric out on the t-shirt, and then I cut the t-shirt lining just to have it be a little bit softer inside the mask. I haven't tried this method yet because I've made about 14 other masks and I've just sewn these together, and then folded them and then sewn these on the outside, but my mom suggested that I try and sew these ties on the inside of the fabric, and then when I flip them out you won't be able to see them. So I'm going to try that. Do it on each 4 corner, and like I said, if they're different lengths, try and make them the same. Like if they're longer, put more in, and if they're short, put less, you know. So I'm going to try and do that first, and then I'll sew the t-shirt lining and the fabric together. This is a classic example of everybody makes mistakes. I accidentally sewed this side the wrong way, so I'm gonna have to unsew it and then do the next one. Oopsies, like I said, I'm not a professional. Now that these are all sewn on, I'm gonna put the t-shirt lining on it. But first, this is gonna be the outside when I first sew it because I want this to show. So I'm gonna match the t-shirt lining up this and put it on the sewing machine. I changed the setting from the zigzag to the straight just because it's easier to sew it. I've sewn the 2 pieces together now. One thing I forgot to mention because I'm trying something new is I left a hole for all the flaps, and I also left a bigger hole so I can flip this inside out. Hoping I can pull out all the strings. So now what we're gonna do is sew the insides, or sew the outsides, to make sure that everything's closed up. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is just iron it out, make sure it's flat, and then do the little pleats so they won't be full, they'll be like half like that. And then I'll show you after that, because then we're just gonna sew it up and it'll be done. Okay, so here are the pleats all ironed out. Here's a little side view. So they're not all the way like full pleats, they're a little half, I think. And I ironed both sides just to solidify where the folds are gonna be. Here's the finished product. I sewed both sides together, and I'll try it on for you. Okay, so you put it on like this, and you tie it up here, tie it really tight. Sorry. And then you can pull it down and then tie it again, like so. So that way it's all around and it works perfectly. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you can be able to make these masks and give them to people in need. I know I've done research and seen that first responders and a lot of other healthcare professionals are in need of masks, and these are washable, so you can just put them in the wash and wear them again, hopefully. I need to splash some bleach in there or something, I don't really know. But I hope this was helpful. Thanks, stay safe, and have a good rest of your day.